And Julian Edlow joins the program now. He's with DraftKings, and he wrote up like a really long story, big reaction to his observations from the guide at the DK Playbook. And you can follow Julian on Twitter. He's at Julian Edlow. I know there's a lot of information there. But, Julian, thanks for the time today. Let's begin with some of the teams to win each division and what you can do with some of these bets at DraftKings. Break this down for us.
Yeah, so once you kind of start tinkering around with what you can and can't parlay on DK Sportsbook, you're going to find a lot of great things that maybe aren't offered at other books. And the one that jumps out to me the most this season, I wrote it up a couple weeks ago as an article, and then I read the VSiN betting guide, and all 6 panelists that you guys had on had Alabama winning the SEC West, Georgia winning the SEC East, and Ohio State winning the Big Ten East. And I don't think many college football fans or analysts are going to disagree with any of those. And it's all chalk, but if you want to parlay those, not many places are going to let you. You can parlay them on DK Sportsbook. It comes out to minus 125. All of those teams have their win totals, at least at DraftKings, set at 10.5 with juice of minus 230 or more. Even if they go under, if one of those teams lands at 10, they're probably going to win their division and still be in the conference championship game. So I think this is just one of those things that's being a little bit overlooked. People don't even know you can bet it. It's absolute complete chalk, but everybody thinks those teams are going to get there. Those are probably the 3 best teams in the country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can get very creative with this then. You could throw in Clemson if you wanted to win their division in the ACC, right? We talked about Air Force earlier. I think I saw them at plus 170 the other day to win their side of the Mountain West, or Fresno State. I know Fresno's another one that people are really high on this year. They're like minus 140, so you could get very creative with how many teams that you want to make here on like a 5 or 6 leg parlay.
Yeah, I kept it safe at minus 125 with the 3 big dogs, but if you want to start mixing and matching here, feel free and go for it. Clemson is a team that a lot of people think will have a bounce back year after the debacle last year, and I think that's fair. Fresno's an interesting one. Fresno is one that I actually wrote up in my article as a reaction from the betting guide, because they were one of the consensus teams. Everybody had them winning their division, all 6 analysts that you guys had on that guide. So they're at minus 140 to win their division on DK Sportsbook. You could probably bet that straight if you wanted to. If you want to get it closer to even money, you just add in an Alabama or a Georgia, who everybody thinks is going to get there. I know Humans had their win total at over 8.5 written up in the guide. So it seems like this is going to be a 9 or 10 win team that kind of cruises through their side of their conference. So that's another team that you can decide. You want the win total? Do you want to get creative by betting their division and even parlaying it with some chalk to kind of get a better price?
I'm with you as well with Nevada, with their win total under. You lose your head coach. You only have a couple starters coming back. It's unprecedented.
They bring back, tied for the fewest starters in the nation at 6. Whole coaching turnover. They lose the NFL caliber quarterback in Strong. Yep. I think it's their top 7 pass catchers, all gone. They bring back nothing, and they have a new coach that needs to learn all the ropes. The schedule isn't that tough, but I don't see how they get there. And I know, let's see who had it. It was Steve that wrote up Nevada under 5 in the betting guide. I had already bet it, but this just kind of reinforced my belief in the under here. They don't have the guys. They don't have the guys. And I saw you guys had Paul Stone earlier talking up the Hawaii under 4.5. I think that's another team that's in a very similar situation. But Nevada just doesn't have the players. And I know Steve said this is the first time ever. This is what really got me over the edge. The first time ever that he had a team that ranked, I think, 0 in his stability score. So 0 stability for the Nevada Wolfpack. That sounds like a team you want to go against.
That's tough to pull off. It really is. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Julian Edlow, our guest with DraftKings, reacting to the college football guide that we put out here at VSiN. Also, Western Kentucky. I mean, they lost a ton of firepower from last year with the quarterback going now to the NFL. So many yards, so many touchdowns, so many points. And it felt like under 8.5 here was probably a good play as well.
Yeah, so one thing that I will point out with both Hawaii, whose under has come up, and then here with Western Kentucky, these 2 teams do play 13 games. So you need to be aware of that if you're going to be betting anything, an over or an under. That said, I mean, they still need to get to 9-4 for Western Kentucky, which would be pretty good. And, they had the year that they had last year, bringing in the whole Houston Baptist crew, all the receivers, the quarterback, Bailey Zappi. you get rid of those guys, I don't see how you necessarily can be the same team. And that extra game can help you. The schedule isn't all that daunting, but again, you're talking about a team that loses a quarterback that went in the mid rounds of the NFL, who had almost 6,000 yards and 62 touchdowns last year. And you're going to say that team's going to be, just about the same this year. I find that hard to believe.
What do you think of the support for Utah and even Dave Tooley saying, well, take a shot at 60-1 to win the whole thing?
I love it. Utah has been the team since I first started getting into my college football research that I was really on board with. And maybe it's a little bit public, maybe it's a little bit chalky. You see, if there's 8.5s anywhere, you see those getting juiced all the way up, -160, -170, whatever. There's 9s all over the place. DraftKings, we have 9. We also have an alternate win total, I believe, on 9.5 to get some plus money there. This team won the Pac-12 last year and really dominated. Like, forget the 1 and 2 start. That was without Cam Rising. When Cam Rising came in, they dominated.
Yep.
They beat Utah, sorry, not Utah. They beat Oregon convincingly twice in a very short period of time. And then they hung with Ohio State in the Rose Bowl without a secondary. They had a running back playing cornerback in that game, which is partially why you'll remember Ohio State putting on a passing clinic for the ages. So you get Cam Rising back, you bring back a good offensive line, a good running game. They have a good secondary this year. The only game that Utah is going to be an underdog, we have them in that Oregon game on the road at Oregon sitting at +1. So they can conceivably, so we'll call that a coin toss. They can conceivably go 11-1 and win the Pac-12, as all 6 analysts across the board had Utah as the Pac-12 champ. And this is the part I found most interesting. 5 of the 6 analysts that you guys had put this betting guide together have Utah in the college football playoff, which is +500 on DraftKings Sportsbook. I would absolutely love to see that from my position here in the futures market. But it was amazing to see so many minds on the same page there with Utah this year.
Can you tell us what also caught your eye in ways to be creative and what's offered at DraftKings? I like that, what they're doing, and share with our listeners and viewers. I like what they're doing with the head-to-head college against the pro.
Yeah, so that's a really cool market that we got up this week. There's 26 different options. If you go to the football tab on DraftKings Sportsbook, it's not under NFL or college. There's going to be an NFL and NCAA football specials tab. You click there. It's not, I think there's 4 states, 4 or 5 states we currently have it unavailable in, but for the most part, most of the states have it. And it's just head to head. Who wins more games between NFL teams and college football? And they kind of try to keep it geographically close. Not all of them are exact, but it's a cool market. I mean, how do you not lean towards a lot of NFL teams? And the price will suggest that when you get 17 cracks versus 12 cracks. It's hard to take a college team there. So, one that I wrote up, the Giants, I think, who I like over 6.5 wins, are -135 to win more games than LSU. If you think they're going to be comparable, the 5 more games for the NFL team is tough to pass on. So I thought that was a really cool market. And people don't know this, I guess, as much because they try and parlay different college football win totals together, which you can't do. But if you take a college football win total and go over to the NFL side and you have something chalky on the NFL side you like, you can put those things together. So the one that I was talking about earlier, we have an NFL parlays tab, a playoff parlays tab. If you think the Bills and Bucks are going to make the playoffs, as I do and many of us do, that's sitting there at -250. You can put that with a chalky win total like Alabama over 10.5 at -280, which is the price now, and you come out to standard -110 juice. So get creative, play around, tinker on DraftKings Sportsbook. You'll probably find some things you didn't know about.
Yeah, take some time. Get on your phone, spend 10 minutes on it, see what you can find, and you can get very creative with stuff like that, and it might actually make a pretty solid bet. You can follow him on Twitter. He's at Julian Edlow. Good breakdown today, Julian. Thanks for the time. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and awesome job over there from everybody that contributed to the betting guide.
We'll pass it along.
Yep.
It's available at vsin.com. $20 for 330 pages, and as Human said yesterday, it's pretty much like the best guide that you're going to find on the entire sport.
Yeah, he's right and you're right. I mean, when we went to, we can't bet at DraftKings. We went out to Foxwoods, the kiosk, get on there, and the menu that they have. Oh my God, what's offered?
Endless.
Yes.
Yep.
Excellent.
We'll do 3-point stats coming up next. Watson news, and also I was surprised to hear this from Deebo Samuel.